Hey everyone, Dr. Rowe coming to you from SpineCare in St. Joseph, Michigan. So if you're getting a little bit older and you're noticing that everyday activities like walking, getting out of a chair, going up and down stairs are becoming harder or more strenuous to do, or maybe you're having balance issues you never had, possibly even more falls, you may be experiencing the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength due to aging, known as sarcopenia. The best way to lessen the effects or even possibly reverse the effects of sarcopenia is by doing weight-resistant exercises. In this video, I'm going to show two parts that are going to help strengthen pretty much the whole body. In the first part, we're going to focus on the lower body. In the second part, the upper body. To get the best results, go through all the exercises and use what works best for you. And as a quick note, these exercises are light enough to possibly do once a day, but if it feels like they're really challenging, try to do them at least 2 to 3 times a week. With that being said, let's get started. With this exercise, we're going to focus on our posterior chain. That is our backside, so lower back, butt, and legs. This is known as the bridge circuit, and if your mattress is firm enough, you could probably do this in bed, but it probably will be easiest to do on a floor. So let's lie flat on our back, have our legs roughly hip width apart, knees bent, feet flat. The first move is going to be what is called the basic bridge. So what we want to do is start by tightening or bracing our core muscles. It's kind of like when somebody pokes you in your stomach, how you tense up and you draw your belly button towards your spine. Just mimic that and hold it during this exercise. It will help protect the back. From here, what we're going to do is squeeze our butt cheeks to engage the glutes. We're going to hold that and then just slowly lift our hips upward towards the ceiling until our body is in a straight line from our knees to our hips to our shoulders. If you're unable to get into this position because of weakness or pain, like you can only go up an inch or two, do the best you can, because over time, hopefully you will gain strength and flexibility to get into this position. But you're going to feel a lot of muscles start to fire in the core, in the back, in your butt, in your legs. Hold this comfortably for about 3 to 5 seconds, release it, take a breather, and then repeat this 10 to 15 times. And with each repetition, try to build into it just a little bit more. Afterwards, see how you feel. If it's really helping out, giving you a good workout, and you have a little bit more energy, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. But let's take this one to the next level and do some more positions that are going to help target some more muscles. So the first movement that I like to do is what is called the clamshell bridge. This one is going to help target the buttocks or the glutes a little bit more. So if it feels like you have weak hips, definitely give this movement a try. We're going to start by putting our feet together and then just gently pressing our heels down into the bed or the floor until you feel a really good activation around the buttocks. From here, we're going to take our knees and we're just going to wing them downward towards the floor as much as we can until we feel a light stretch forming on the inner part of our thighs working towards the groin into the hips. Once you feel it into the hips, hold this position and now do the bridge. So just lift your hips upward towards the ceiling. This time around, I really feel it around my glutes into the hips. Hold this 3 to 5 seconds, release it, repeat it 10 times. But again, if it feels like you have a little bit more energy, try to throw in another set or 2. So the last movement is called the hamstring bridge, and this one is going to target the back of your thighs. This is a really deep leg burner. So let's get back into our original position of having our legs roughly hip width apart. This time around though, I'm going to take my heels and drive them downward into the floor or the bed until I get a deep activation into the glutes. So it should really feel like your butt cheeks are starting to fire. You're going to hold this position, get into the bridge right here, and now slowly walk out with your heels. As you do this, you're going to feel those hamstrings on the back of the thigh really engage. So challenge yourself to walk out as much as you can. Take a breather and then repeat this 5 times. Afterwards, see how you feel. If it feels like you have a little bit more energy, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. So the best exercise to do after the bridge circuit is doing the bird dog hydrant. This one is going to focus on the anterior chain. That is our core muscles, pelvic floor, and the front of our thighs over the hip flexors. So when you put the bridge and the bird dog together, you get the back and the front, the best of both worlds. So for this one, we're going to start on all fours. If your mattress is firm enough, you may be able to do this one in bed, but it probably will be easiest to do on a floor. So the first thing that I'm going to do is slowly straighten one leg out as much as I can, keeping the top of that foot's side flat on the bed or the floor. Just slide your foot away, point your toes away at the same time. As you do this, you're going to feel a really deep stretch form in your calf muscles that works upward towards the back of your thigh into your hips and lower back. Once you feel it in your hips and lower back, you want to hold this position and then slowly raise your leg upward like this so it's roughly in line with your body. You're going to feel a lot of muscles start to fire in the core, going downward into your legs. Let's hold this comfortably for about 3 to 5 seconds, release it, and then repeat this on the other side. Try to do this for about 5 to 10 repetitions. With each repetition, just build into it a little bit more. If it feels like you have a little bit more energy, always challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. So to make this one a little bit harder, and turn it more into a balance and coordination exercise, what we can do is raise our leg up and then lift the other side's arm at the same time. As you do this, if you feel like you're starting to really struggle to maintain this position, you might have a lot of weakness in your core muscles or just balance issues to begin with, so it's really going to help address that. Hold this for about 5 seconds, release it, and again repeat it on the other side for about 5 to 10 repetitions. So let's take this one to the next level and do what is called the hydrant, which is going to help strengthen more across the hips, especially with the glutes. So for this one, I'm going to get back into my original position of lifting my leg up like this, but I'm going to hold this for about 3 to 5 seconds, release it, keep that knee bent at about 90 degrees and just let it hover above the bed or the floor. From here, I'm just going to swing my knee upward towards the ceiling, focusing on moving through my hip as much as I can, and I like to rotate my whole body with it. So I'm kind of rotating to look upward towards the ceiling. Now you know why we call this one the hydrant, but you're going to feel a ton of muscles around the hips start to fire. Build into this one as much as you can. Hold it for about 3 to 5 seconds. Relax, take a breather, and then repeat this on the other side. Try to do that about 5 to 10 times. But go through all of these movements. If you find that one just a little bit trickier, like it's more challenging, at that point keep building into that movement over and over again until it feels like you got a really good workout. This exercise is called the wall sit, and it's going to help strengthen our glutes and our legs, hopefully making everyday activities like getting out of a chair, going up and down stairs, or even walking a little bit easier to do. All you need is a wall or a door to put your backside flush against. So let's break this one down. What you want are your feet a little bit out in front of you. That way you can lean your body weight into the wall or the door. You want your legs, or I should say your feet, a little bit wider than your hips also, and point your toes out slightly, about 5 to 10 degrees. It'll help take tension off your knees. So after that, what I like to do is just lightly brace my core muscles. It's kind of like when somebody pokes you in your stomach, how you tense up and pull your belly button towards your spine. Just mimic that and hold it, just to help protect the back. And we really want to focus on the glutes with this one, so let's just do a little bit of a butt squeeze to activate those muscles. From here, I just place all of my body weight onto my heels and just simply sit downward. So I'm going to squat and sit downward like this, lowering my butt towards the floor. The more that you go down, the more that you're going to feel a deep activation into your glutes right here, working into your legs. Once you feel a deep but comfortable activation of these muscles, you want to hold this for about 3 to 5 seconds, release it, take a breather, and then repeat this 10 to 15 times. And with each repetition, try to build into it a little bit more by squatting or sitting a little bit more. So afterwards, see how you feel. If it feels like you have a little bit more energy, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. The nice thing about the wall sit is you can progress into more challenging positions to hopefully build more strength. So you can do what is called a goblet squat, which is roughly the same thing, but we're just not going to use the support of the wall. So let's get back into our original position just like this. Let's brace our core muscles, squeeze our glutes, but this time around I'm going to take my hands and put them in a prayer position and press them right into my chest to help keep my back nice and straight. And then from here, what I'm going to do is just kind of lean backward, putting my body weight onto my heels, and then squat my butt down towards the floor. It's just a little bit harder again because you don't have the support. So give that a try for about 10 to 15 repetitions and just throw in as many sets as you're able to. And to make this one even a little bit harder, what you can do is grab a simple weight like a dumbbell or a kettlebell, put that towards your chest, and then build into it. The more weight that you use, the more resistance you use, the more muscle you will gain. So now let's turn our attention towards strengthening the upper body. One of the easiest ways to target as many muscles as possible in a short amount of time is by doing the push-up progression. So with this one, I'm going to show you the easiest way to be able to do it, and then I'll show you how to take it to the next level. So if you're not able to get on a floor or you have a lot of upper body weakness, this is what I would start off doing. Just go next to a wall or a door and just be about an arm length away from it. What you're going to do is have your feet about hip width apart, and you're just going to lean your body weight into the door. Just have your arms roughly about shoulder level and also about shoulder width apart. From here, I just like to make sure that I keep my body nice and straight, and I just bend my elbows and I lower my chest towards the door. So what you want to do is just go down into the point where you're almost touching it, and then you're just going to push yourself off like this. And you might want to position your arms to the point where it really feels like it's not putting a lot of tension on your elbows or your shoulders. But you just want to focus on pressing your body away and then slowly lowering it towards the floor. So we're resisting going away and towards at the same time. You should feel a lot of muscles start to fire across the upper back, into your chest, into your arms. Try to do this about 15 to 20 times, but if you're able to, work upward even towards 20 to 30 repetitions. From there, take a breather, and at that point, throw in another set or two. To make this more challenging, all you have to do is walk your feet a little bit further away from the wall. The more that your feet are away from the wall, the harder this will be. So if this becomes a little bit too easy, let's now progress into the second movement that we can do. For the second position, we're going to start on a floor. This one is very similar to the full push-up position, but to make it a little bit easier, we're going to rest our lower body weight onto our knees. So just cross your legs over like this. From here, we're going to have our hands and arms straight downward, and I like to have my hands a little bit wider than my shoulders. The movement from here, very easy. We're just going to slightly bend our elbows and slowly lower our body weight and chest towards the floor, but resist against your body weight. Go down as far as you're able to. If you're able to touch your chest, do that, and then just drive upward like this. And then you're just going to repeat this nice and slowly for 15 to 20 repetitions. But if you do have the strength, I would try to throw in as many repetitions as you're able to, working upward towards 50, even 100 if you have a lot of strength. And you can break those up into as many sets as you like. 15 or 20 sets, or I should say rep sets, work out really, really well. But if this one feels like it's a little bit too easy, at that point I would progress into the full push-up, which is kind of like a plank position. So just put your feet together and then just do that same movement. Wow, I feel like I'm in the army right now. But what you want to do is just slowly go down and then back up like this. And again, working upward towards as many repetitions as you're able to. 50 is a really good number, but if you're able to, build upwards even towards 100, broken up into as many sets as you like. So here's a really good upper body strengthening exercise that only requires some dumbbells. If you don't have any dumbbells laying around the house, they are a really good investment. And if you would like to pick some up online, I will leave a link in this video's comment section and description. The nice part about this one, you can even do this exercise while watching television. Let's just start seated with very good upright posture. Just have your back as straight as possible. You need to grab some weights that are going to be heavy enough that they're going to offer some resistance, but you're still going to be able to curl the weight upward like this. So let's start with our elbows at 90 degrees, tuck our elbows towards our side, and then slowly curl or raise one weight upward towards our shoulder. At this point, you should feel a really good activation into your biceps right here at the front of your arm. Let's hold this for a brief second and then slowly lower the weight downward like this, resisting against it. So we're going to resist going up and down just like this. I like to do both arms at the same time, so as one weight goes up, the other one goes down, but you're more than welcome to concentrate on one arm only. But let's try to do this about 10 to 15 times on both sides. Relax, and then from there, throw in another set or two. So the next movement, and this one really takes it to the next level, it's going to focus a little bit more on our upper back and across our shoulders. So I like to have my elbows bent at 90 degrees, palms facing forward. What I'm going to do is start off by just bringing my elbows inward like this, and then I'm going to bring them outward as much as I can until I feel a really good stretch forming in my chest, but also my shoulder blades starting to pinch. Hold that and then press the weights upward as much as I can. When I can't go any further, I shrug my shoulders upward as much as I can. Hold that for a second, relax, and then just repeat this whole cycle for about 10 to 15 times. Again, if it feels like you have a little bit more energy, always challenge yourself by throwing in another set or two. If the exercises help, please support the channel by giving this video a like and maybe subscribing too. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.